Does size really matter? Well, maybe in the bedroom, but not out here making that six figures. Whether I'm using the Skags to make those hundreds or the push mower, doesn't really matter to me. We're gonna make that money, right? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Maybe evening if you're watching this at night. Maybe afternoon. Who knows? But for me, it ain't even morning. It's like 10:45. So we're on the scene here. We have a pretty big day. It's Friday. I am behind on my schedule. I finished my route Tuesday of this week from last week. So when you guys get behind because of rain, what do? Leave in the comments. How do you catch back up? Do you just skip it and lose that week's mowing? Or do you mow it a couple days later and then get back on schedule, even if you mowed it 4 days before? That's what I do. All right. If I get behind on grass because of rain, I'm going to mow your grass first chance I get. And guess what? I'll be back 4 days, maybe 5 days later to mow it again to get me back on schedule. Because the grass is going to grow no matter what day I show up. I may not cut as much. It may save me time. But I did not lose that revenue for that mowing week. That's the most important thing for a small business. We're going to push mow this place. Last week I did it by myself. This week I got the boys. So it's already looking like a good Friday. I'll check back in. Here we go, everybody. Today's topic: do I really need a huge $8,000, $15,000 machine to make six figures in the lawn care business? Or can I just fire up my steel weed eater and my Honda push mower and have at it? Free reign on all these beautiful properties, just me and my pushing skills. Good question, isn't it? Because word on the street is I gotta invest tens and tens of thousands of dollars to make 100,000. Well, we're gonna go ahead and debunk that whole thing, because we're gonna walk you through this push mowing account step by step as you watch us work it. And then we're gonna take you to a large account that is the same amount of time, that is the same amount of dollar amount, but I use my Skags instead. Woo! Look what we got here. I had to include this little clip here just to remind everybody, you cannot be in turtle speed if you're trying to make six figures. It don't work like that. It's all good, buddy. Put you back in the woods. There you go, dude. So the sad truth of lawn care life: if you don't have sixth gear in your body, you might as well just come here and sit in the woods with that turtle. Sit right there on that bench and watch the rest of us come out here and work and make that six figures. That's available to anybody who wants to work hard and provide perfection. So in my opinion, there are two different approaches to making this six-figure income. You can either focus on perfection, or you can focus on volume and numbers and how many mowing accounts you can accomplish in a week, how many you can throw in your basket to say that you have that many. Well, for me, it's just the opposite. I want to have less accounts and greater income. The less amount I spend driving around, gas, time, effort, loading, unloading the gate, the equipment, the better off I am in the long run. So, to me, I'd rather be here at this property by myself for 2.5, 3 hours and make $260 than I would hitting up, say, 8 nasty, trashy residential yards. That's just my preference, and that's my opinion on how to make the most money out here. These manicured yards, they get trimmed periodically throughout the season. They get mulched once a year, and every single minute we spend on this property is billed accordingly. There's no, oh, well, this visit is quoted at $60. I did a bunch of extra work, but I feel bad. I can't charge them because I only said $60. Guys, you need to be taking control, monitoring your time and effort, and letting these customers and clients know just how much you did each and every visit out here. For example, the mowing on this property is $150 to $200 per mowing, depending on how much time it takes me. The extra services involved are the weeds in the beds, the weeds in the concrete pavers, any limbs, tree branches, any debris that's out of place will be taken care of. The rate that I charge for all these extra services is simply $60 per man hour spent. This is how myself and you make that six-figure income on these properties. So now that I've given you the information and the approach on these properties, I want to go ahead and have a commitment from everybody in my community that we are going to strive for perfection, we're going to provide perfection, and we're going to charge accordingly for the perfection that we're putting out there. These are new accounts that you're trying to land. You're trying to get up that ladder. You're trying to get to that top tier, level 5. You have to know what you're worth and charge accordingly to what you know is true. Woo! Hot out. Right, dog? Yeah, man. Definitely hot, sticky, humid. Got grass stuck all over us, of course. But, well, what time we start? 11 o'clock? It's 11:32. So, all the weed eating, front yard, all that's done pushing. And, they're going to be in the back mowing. I'm going to come out front and clean. So, gotta get this grass off me. Itching to death. That's why I have the cooler. It's like a little water fountain of water all day long. Ice cold. Perfect. Alright, I'll check back in. Now it's time to put this whole size thing in perspective for everybody. Because if I pick up one account, just like this one that we're on, and I mow it 8 times, 2 months worth of mowing, just 8 trips to one property, that gives me enough to pay for a brand new Honda push mower, a brand new Steel 131R, and a brand new Steel backpack blower 600. That alone can make me my 6 figures. I can get my own setup off of this one property in 8 weeks worth of effort. I'm trying to blow your mind and make you realize this is not hard to achieve when it comes down to doing it and understanding it. The hardest part is to get up every single day of the year, no matter what the weather is outside. Whether it's 106 like it has been for weeks, or whether it's freezing cold with ice and snow all over the ground. Alright? Your effort is what makes the biggest difference in your world. The truth is, if you're doing this for a living, there will be mornings that you wake up, crawl yourself out of bed, every single muscle and every joint is going to be killing you. Are you going to have the mental strength to overcome? Because if you do, then you'll reap the benefits, like taking the morning off to see your children off on the school bus on their first day of school, taking off early to go to a school play. Alright? Those are the things that really matter in life, and I want you to understand you can have your own freedom of time. So now you can see how big the place is that I didn't show you any footage of when I did it solo. It's just a pretty big place to push mow and weed eat and take care of all together. But for the amount of time it takes, I just charge for what I'm going to charge to make per hour. So if I'm here for hours, it's going to cost hundreds, right? It's just the way it goes. Whether I'm using the skags to make those hundreds or the push mower, doesn't really matter to me. We're going to make that money, right? Come on. A lot more properties today. Sweltering. Maybe some rain. I don't know. Are you ready to get your mind blown for a second time today? We gonna make it? I don't know. Looking kind of risky. The mind-blowing fact that this property here is the same amount of money as the property we just left. You want Randall?
Officially parked out, it's storming. Oh, hell to the nah, bro. It's uncensored. You're hearing everything today.
So the Skag twins here, they actually say size does matter. See how they perform. It's coming at me. You hear it? I got a slope in the backyard I'm gonna go hit first before this rains. And yeah. Last week when I was here, it had been 2-week cut, leaving clumps the size of raccoons out here. And be fun times. So grass is short, but we do have to get these clumps sucked up by the velocity deck. Dude, mosquitoes are killing me already. Time to mow. I gotta get off here. So the Skag Turf Tiger 2 is $15,000. The Freedom Z Pro was $8,000. Both of them are 61-inch decks. They can mow some grass nice and fast. Business model number 2 is for those of us out there that do not want that hardcore labor. We're not really worried about the perfectionist of being an artist out here. We just love to mow grass. Simple as that. We love to sit down on that comfortable seat that we paid all that money for, put our music in our ears, and just enjoy God's beautiful nature as we ride. So just like the push mowing yard that we just left, that takes me 2.5 hours by myself, this property here with my Skag Turf Tiger 2 takes me 2.5 hours by myself. Therefore, I am charging the same amount of money for this large scale property as I do for that push mow yard and the detailed manicure perfectionism that is required there. Now, that doesn't mean that I slack on my performance just because this is large. We just triple cut this property. It needed it, had to be done. Still made the money, still didn't take much time at all. Think about the weed eating. Just the difference in the weed eating that is necessary on his 2 different properties. One was all perfect crispy edging and perfect flattening techniques, and then you had to come through and fine detail blow all the beds, every little blade of grass out of them. This property here takes the same amount of time for me to weed eat, 30 minutes. I can roll around this fence line and around the house and around the entrance in the same amount of time. 30 minutes is 30 minutes. This might be blowing your mind that I charge the same amount of money for this large estate as I did for the smaller manicured estate, but the simple fact is, in my business model, it all comes down to my time. The time I spend out here working, I need to get paid for. Just like the other property, if I go through the beds around the house, that's going to be an extra charge. If we have storm damage, where there's limbs down, where we take extra time to clean stuff up, there's going to be an extra charge. When I get around to the entrance area you will see all those thorn bushes up there. When it's time to trim those and get them back off that area, there will be extra charges. The extra time you spend needs to be compensated into your pocket. Because regardless if you have large machines or small machines, you're gonna need new equipment every single year. You have to have that income to replenish your used and abused pieces of equipment out here making this money with you, right? The bottom line is there are so many different property types, business models that you can go after and still be successful. It comes down to you and what you want out of your life and your day-to-day adventures out here. Don't think that just because all you can afford right now is a push mower and your truck is all small and tiny and can barely haul that mulch on your little bitty trailer, don't think you can't make six figures. It's here for you. All right, we're gonna hit lunch now. That was 2 properties, 3 hours into the day, and $420. So we're gonna roll, get some food. We'll check back in. All right, guys, 3:45. We just finished up the house right there and the one down there. I'm done for today. Like I said, I got behind on my schedule last week, so this coming week I'll hit Fridays. We're out on Monday, and then the following week after that I'll get it back on a Friday. So we'll be back on track, back on schedule. We won't miss any mowings, which means we won't miss any revenue or a week's worth of work. Now, this house here, we did that large evergreen landscaping on, and some of these laurels did not make it. I had that crop, like the whole crop was kind of trashy, and definitely going to replace those 5 laurels. And I had 1 rhododendron that was in a bad spot, got a little bit too much sun and a lot too much water. So that even makes sense. A lot of too much water. Yeah, excess water. You know what I'm saying. So hey, I might check back in. Probably not. But I'm going to pick up my throttle cable. So we will have the throttle cable installation video coming out probably beginning next week. All right. Like I say always, be good if you can. Always be kind. And above all, love each other. Elite Landscape style. Peace.